everyone, Letty here. Today I'm going to share with you another craft with me video. This is a bonus project where we're making some large matchbook notes. So welcome back. If you just saw my recent last video where I did this trifold TN folio, we had these white sheets left over, 10 sheets, and they're 4 inches by 8.5 that we had left over from the previous project. So I told you we would be making a bonus thing. This is the bonus project here. So I'm using one 12 by 12 sheet. I only am going to use a part of that. And then I'm also using a cut apart. And then of course that white scrap paper that we had from the last project. So I made this set off camera. This is basically what we're going to be making. It's a large matchbook notes. They're super cute. This is a little larger than the normal size. Normally this is around like a 3 by 3, but this one actually is a little bit bigger. So I did make this set, this trifold TN folio, along with the coordinating matchbook notes off camera, while I was waiting for, the previous video to upload to YouTube. So I went ahead and made another set. And I did use this photo play collection called Like a Girl. I found previously on clearance at Hobby Lobby, just to make this. So let's go ahead and begin this bonus project. We're going to be using these white sheets of paper, and we are going to be cutting them in half on the long side. So the dimensions are 4 inches by 8.5, and I am using 10 sheets, which is what was left over from the previous project. I'm going to cut at 4 1/4 on that 8.5 inch side, which will give me 2 even sets or 1 full stack of 20 sheets. Now we're going to cut the directional paper, or our 12 by 12 sheet. It works best if you have a double-sided paper, and it's okay to use directional. Just be mindful of the direction. The paper we're going to cut it down to, the size is 4.5 by 10 inches. So what I'm doing, because I have a vertical pattern, I'm going to cut from the side at 4.5. So I'm not cutting from top or bottom this time. I'm actually cutting from the side so I can get that vertical layout. And then we're going to cut it down to 10 inches. So cut from the side at 4.5 and then cut it down to 10 inches. And if your paper is not directional, then it doesn't matter. Then you just cut a piece at 4.5 by 10 inches. And it really doesn't matter. But because mine is directional, I want to keep that in mind. So next we'll be scoring the paper. You actually are going to have the paper with the top of the sheet to the left and the bottom to the right, just how I have it right there. But we're going to flip it over and have it facing down before we do all of our scores. And that's because when you flip it over to make that little matchbook, you're going to want the pattern to go the correct way. So again, if it's directional, if your paper is directional, have the top of the paper to the left, the bottom to the right, and flip it over to where you have it over facing down. Then we're going to score at 1 inch, at 5.5 inch, and then 5 3/4 inch, all on that 10 inch side. So again, that was 1 inch, 5.5, and 5 3/4. So that's what it looks like. So that's it. That's literally it. All we would need to do as far as cutting and scoring for this matchbook notes. So now go ahead and use your bone folder to just kind of varnish or enforce those fold lines or those score lines. You're going to want them to be, very crisp, just to kind of keep that shape, because you will be putting paper inside. You can kind of see it coming together now. And so this is what I was talking about with the directional paper. You see how my cherries are facing the correct direction? It's because, again, we had it to the right direction whenever we scored. So I have my white paper, and it's also important to keep in mind of the dimensions on here of this white paper. You're going to want to make sure that you have the right dimensions facing the right way when you insert them into the match notebook. So the width is 4 inches and the length is 4 1/4. So you're going to want to make sure that when you stick it in horizontally, you're going to have a 4 inch side, and then on the vertical, you're going to want to do that 4 1/4. And just make sure that you put the white paper sort of even on both sides. You should have approximately 1/4 of an inch border on both sides, and put it all the way to that 1 inch score mark, maybe just slightly above it. Once you have it centered, you're ready to go. Go ahead and hold it down, flip it over, and then staple. And the reason why I'm stapling this way, and I usually staple 3 times, I staple this way so that way the teeth will be exposed in the front, because I'll be covering that with a piece of scrap paper. and the back will be flat. You'll see that in just a second. I'll show you. So that's basically the matchbook design that we're using for this large matchbook. And again, I mentioned to save the scraps. You always want to save your scraps on these types of projects. In this case, I'm cutting it down to 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it right on top of the little flap to cover those exposed teeth from the staple. And if for whatever reason your paper is not as thick and you can still see the exposed teeth, then you would just want to either cut another piece of paper and put it on top of that, or even a couple of layers, or you can add some additional decorations. You see how the back is nice and smooth and the front is also nice and smooth. That's why we do the teeth that way, or we staple from the back forwards. So again, if those teeth are still protruding forward, you can just add another piece of paper, or you can also just add some embellishment to decorate, and it'll cover those teeth, which is what I'm going to do. So time to decorate the actual matchbook. I'm going to use one of these little cut aparts from the La La Love collection by Crate Paper. And it's just from one of the random size cut apart sheets. So it was almost like a perfect size for this project, which is why I'm using that one. If you do have like a 3x4 cut apart, you could also use that. You might just have to trim it a little bit. Otherwise, it might be just a little bit wonky with regards to the size and the dimensions and the borders. Then I'm going to add some stickers at the bottom to help cover some of those teeth that are still kind of pushing through from the staples. So I'm going to just add a couple of stickers, and I am going to reinforce them with a little bit of wet glue, only because these stickers are a little bit older. And because it's a matchbook notes, this is something you can throw in your purse, in your backpack, anywhere, in your wallet. It's going to get some wear and tear, and I don't want it to get as beat up as possible. So I do want it to last. So I'm going to go ahead and add in that glue to kind of keep it together. So here is our trifold TN folio and our large matchbook notes. These are both projects that I showed in the previous video and in this bonus video. Thanks for visiting, everybody. Hope you subscribe, like this video, and follow me on Instagram. Thanks. Bye-bye.